Okay, so hello everybody, whoever is there. My name is Ilaria. I'm the head coach of Synquatics, which is the artistic swimming session for Hamilton Aquatics. It's great to see how many of you are interested in synchro. So the plan for today is going through some general information, a sort of intro about what synchronized swimming is, what artistic swimming is nowadays, and how we're going to plan the sessions over the next weeks with you guys at home. So today it will be a very general one based on a theory, as well as doing some practice all together. So this will include more practice around positions, basic positions that we can practice on land, as well as the scullings that we normally do in the water. So having said this, I just want to bear in mind with you that at the end of the session, we're going to have 5 minutes during which we're going to answer all the questions that you can point at us on the site. So if there's anything that you're not sure, feel free to point it out for us. Other than that, in terms of equipment, make sure you've got space. I would say enough space to either stand up or lay down on your mat. Make sure you've got a mat. Make sure you've got a drink if you need to drink. And make sure that if you can, you've got a TheraBand. So that's something that you might have seen before. If you haven't, that's not a problem. You can simply use either a skipping rope or simply just not use it. But make sure that you follow the instructions. Okay. So I think now we can start with the presentation. So let me just check. Okay. So I'm not sure you can see. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what is artistic swimming? So artistic swimming, very briefly, is what everybody would describe as dance in the water, as a sort of water ballet. It originally started in a very graceful way, so there's always been a ballet background, but now because the sport is getting bigger and bigger, there's a lot of kids join from artistic gymnastics, rhythmic gymnastics, and you know, any sort of activity that gives you really strong core and overall body awareness. So if you've done any of these sports in the past, this could be a great opportunity for you. Obviously, you need to become confident in swimming, but this is not necessarily something that you need to develop more than the other qualities. You can always learn to swim that well with us, especially here in Dubai. It's been an Olympic sport since 1984, so not as old as other sports, but it's getting its history now. And it's one of the toughest sports in the world, as well as unique. Just to give you an idea, the image that you've got right here in front of you is one of the probably one of the most dangerous and risk lifts done at the Olympics. And normally national teams train up to 10 hours a day. Obviously, this is not what we would do now, what we're going to do today, but it's just to give you an idea that it requires a lot of time and dedication. So in artistic swimming, I'm sure that most of you have seen, for example, the sport before, and you've seen people practicing different numbers. So numbers could be different, and the different disciplines and events varies based on the competitions. At the Olympics, there are only 2 events. One is the duet, so the one that you can see here at the top right. So that is made by 2 people. And then we've got the team event, which is the one made by 8 people. There are other sorts of events that probably you've seen before, and one is the solo. And the solo is made just by one person, as the word says, and is allowed at world champs competition, national competitions, continental competitions, and same as the team of 10, just like a solo. The also latest news is that the sport is becoming very mixed. and so you will see more and more boys getting to practice with girls, which is great. And if there's any of you boys out there and you've done gymnastics before or ballet before, but you're feeling a bit shy for doing it, just give us a shout and I'm sure we will help you in this. So this is another example of what synchronized swimming could be, what it is, and what you might have seen around. If you look at here at the top left, this is how the girls look like when they practice lips upside under the water. So when you see one girl jumping off, they're not allowed to use the bottom of the pool, which means they need to use their own strength. And there is a specific technique. This is one of the techniques when there's one girl on top of the others, but in this case, she wouldn't jump, she would probably do a holding position. A key thing in synchro is, as the word says, it needs to be synchronized. So we normally use the music as a point, a reference point for all of us to go together. Many people are asking, can you hear the music underwater? Yes, you can. We've got an underwater speaker, normally even two, which are set up at the competitions, as well as the main speaker outside, and they are connected together. We normally follow the music beat, and we always count it in count of 8. So from 1 till 8, and then we start, just like in music. So you need to make sure that you bear this in mind, because later we're going to do some exercise following this rhythm, which could be faster or slower, but always 1 till 8. In synchro, like I was saying before, you will need some flexibility. So obviously, given the nature of the sport and now how well specific it's becoming, being flexible is definitely an extra, and everybody's required to try to be as flat as possible in the splits, but also be flexible on your back, on your shoulders. It varies a lot. Another key thing is making sure that you work on your strength. So in the case of this image at the bottom right, you can see it's only given by the body strength and the technique that you will be at your highest out of the water. Indeed, in synchro, what will help you get in the highest points is the wow effect in case of legs, in case of, a different routine, different costumes, like you can see on this picture on top. But the major thing is the height. As long as you're high and you try to show as much as you can of your body when you're breathing or when you're underwater with your legs, that is what is going to be the top routine in the competition. And lastly, you can see here, for example, we've got different styles. You can always make up your own routine according with your coach, depending on what you like. You might start creating it from, let's say, a song that you really enjoy, or you might start following a theme. In this case, for example, you've got the theme of a dragon, so you can see the costume and the facial expression is also very aggressive. On the other hand, you've got something a little bit more elegant in this case, because the theme was the mermaids. So again, it varies a lot. And this is probably the most fascinating thing about synchro, which is you can do different things based on what you want to present. So main question from everybody is, then how can you do it? If you cannot touch the bottom, if you cannot hold any kind of reference point, what can you do? Well, this is the reason why we're here today. So the idea is that over these weeks together, we're going to try to give you some tips about things that we can practice on land. And then if you want to join us in the future, we're definitely going to it's definitely going to pay off, because you will have already a rough idea of what we're going to do. So today we are going to focus on, like we were saying, the sense of rhythm, and as well as the sculling technique and the different positions. Over the next week, you're going to spend more time with other coaches doing more specific work on the cardiovascular side. Big word, big boring word, which basically means how your body could resist, how could answer to a long effort in a long time. And this also is related to another big question that we've got in our sport, which is how long can you hold your breath? yes, it's something that you need to practice, but it's not just a case of closing your nose and holding your breath. You need to make sure to keep practicing, to keep moving, because when you go upside down, you're not just staying still. You need to keep moving, you need to keep thinking and correcting the positions. So that is something that we're going to work on next week in particular. And finally, we're going to spend a lot of time doing flexibility as well. And again, this could be something fun. Obviously, we cannot give you specific feedback now. So the idea is that we'll try our best to give you some tips, but make sure you do not hurt yourself, but at the same time, you don't push yourself back. Try to give it a go, see what happens. And then if you've got any question, you can always ask us at the end. So having said this, I would like to make sure that now you've got enough space and you've got all the things that we said. So if now we take the screen, I'm going to take my microphone off as well. Okay. And what we're going to do, okay, so we're going to start doing that quick warm-up. Just give me some time that I'll make sure everything fits. Okay. 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 Right. So best thing, okay, you can do it. I'm going to do it sitting down on my knees just so you can see me better. So we're going to start with 5 head rotations, okay, towards one side, and then 5 the other way. Make sure they're big. Make sure you keep your shoulders on the side and you don't overdo it, but not even missing any points. Okay. Once you've done this, we're going to warm up our shoulders. So 5 back and 5 forward. Okay. Here, make sure you've got space. 5 back with the right arm. Okay, and 5 forward. Same thing with the other arm. Now that you know what we're doing, try to follow up the pace. It's always the same. So 5 and 5. Next, standing up. Okay, hands on your hips. We're going to do some hips rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, first challenge. Try to stand up, staring up right in front of you. Lift your knee and do some knees rotations. 2, 3, 4, 5, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Now, with the right foot, 5 rotations. And back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And another way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now first thing, I'm going to show you sideways so it makes more sense. So make sure you watch it first, but you can do it facing the camera, that's not a problem. So my socks are flat, so might not be ideal, but we try to go on demi points in this position, okay, when you've got your toes on the ground, but everything else is extended. We're going to do demi point, and we're going to go with both legs up, and then go down with the other. Okay, we're going to do it 10 times. Ready? And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And now from here, this is the demi point, and this is what we call the main point position. For you that have done ballet before, this I'm sure is very familiar. So the key here, okay, is making sure that you push this forward. It's not just a case of doing this with the foot. This is incorrect. So try to push the ankle forward, because this is what gives the nice leg line. Okay, we're going to go 5 times on one leg, and then we're going to swap toes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And other, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Just to give you an idea, okay, so keeping the toes as pointed as you can, this is the key. Okay, so try to grip it. Okay, pretend that you've got a pen. Okay, you've got a pen and you try to hold it there. This is something that you could try and hold. This is what gives the nice look on the leg. Okay, so you really try to extend it, but at the same time you try to grip the toe as much as you can. Okay, just to warm up, we're going to do from this position, we're going to go 5 times here, 5 times a little bit higher, and then we're going to do the same with the other leg. Okay, ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other leg. Point your toes and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stop. Good job. If you want to then, this is something you can try home. Maybe hold the wall. Go from here. Try to stay like this. This is something that obviously it takes time, but if you're confident with it, give it a go. Okay? So, why doing all of this? Because now we're going to start practicing positions on your mat, which are the ones that you saw on the last slide. So, when we practice in synchro, we practice either standing up with our body, and in that case, we practice the technique of egg beater, which is something that they do in water polo as well. Then the other two, let's say, major playground where we are the surface and upside down. Today we're going to focus on these two. One is the surface, so all the positions on the surface, and then when we're going up, we'll pretend to do it on, let's say, the candle position. So first, okay, this is what we call the back layout position. Okay, so in this case, you can't see that well, but the idea is you try to keep all your back down on the floor. You try to extend both your legs to a point that you should feel the knee is pushing down and the toes are up. Okay? So we're going to hold this position, okay, twice for 10 seconds. The idea is not just to stay relaxed. I want you to engage your muscles. So try to extend your legs, point your toes, keep tight, nice and solid, as if somebody's ready to punch you on the stomach. So you need to really keep your ribs in. Ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. And one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And stop. Good job. Now, next one. From here, there are two positions to create what we call the ballet leg. So first, this is a bend knee ballet leg position. So you can see my foot is on the other leg, not completely on top, on the side, pointing. You should bend it around your knee, not too much, not too less, halfway. Okay, this is the first position, whilst the other leg is fully extended. And then the third one is this, what we call the ballet leg. And really try to keep the leg straight. Try not to just stay like this. I know some athletes want to do it, so try not to do it. And really push the knee away from you. So we're going to do 4 counts here, 4 counts here, 4 counts here, 4 counts here. Okay? We're going to do a few times, so try to pay attention. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend 5, 6, 7, 8. Go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. 6, 7, 8. And stop. Good. Challenge. Now, what we're going to do is try to go from here to here and down.
Okay, for this challenge, so just because it's the first time, you can even stay on your elbows. So I'm going to give different rhythms. First time, we're going to hold each position for 8 counts. So 8 counts, 8 counts, 8 counts, 8 counts. And then we're going to do it every 4, every 2, and then every 1. We're going to do once with one leg, once with the other leg. Try not to stop, okay? Ready, and 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And stop. Good job, guys. Right, so we've done back leg position, bend knee position, ballet leg position. These combine together. Last one that you can try and do these days is what we call the tap position. So this is when we're in the water, normally like this. Okay, bear this in mind because other coaches are going to use it over the next days. Okay, so very quickly, we're just going to go through 2 basic scullings before we go into any other questions. So what we're going to do is either use the TheraBand, okay, or simply not use it the first time, okay? This is not compulsory. So normally when we're on back layout, we need to try to travel forward, which means traveling towards our head direction. We do it forwards or we do it backwards. The key is that when you lay down on the surface, we start with the arms in this position. So they are not too bent, so your elbows are not in line with your shoulders, but they're not even fully straight, they're halfway. Okay, these parts of your arm never moves. They always stay still, but this does. And the wrist is what leads the direction. If you are lifting it up this way, you're going to push the water towards the opposite direction that you're going to go. So if you're pushing the water that way, you're going to travel that way. If you're doing the opposite way, so you're trying to take the water, you are going to go the opposite way. Sorry, there are the helicopters coming. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to try to do the first one, which is this one, you can do it with me. So this one is to travel forward. Think like when you put Nutella on a panini. This is a good example. Or I like to say is also think of when you try to cuddle your pet. Think of anything when you are giving a cuddle, when you're doing something soft. Nothing too sharp, nothing too floppy, or halfway. Okay? But then, if you want to travel feet first, you simply need to recreate a spoon with your hands. Okay? So you try to dig, try to think of a lovely ice cream that you're gonna get at the end of the day today. Okay? So this is feet first sculling. Head first, feet first. Okay? And that's basically it. These are the 2 basic scullings. So you just need to practice. If you've got balls at home now, give it a go. And you could do the same, okay, if you've got bands, but keeping it underneath you, either start down on your knees or standing up like this. So it does a little bit of resistance. Okay? So last thing I want to teach you today, I want to show you, is the scull that we do when we go upside down, which is what we call support scull. If we could just see the last slide one more time, the last one that we produced earlier, you could see that we've got the arm of the lady in this position. Okay, this is exactly what you need to do. Okay, so you need to think As if you're a lovely bartender, you're gonna hold, okay, your hands, your palm fully straight, and you're never allowed to let the book fall down or anything else that you can do. Okay. So the idea is shoulders are always still, nothing moving. Everything tight, solid. Elbows close to your body. Fingers together. You go from here, out, in, out, in, out, in. Okay. And this is basically it. Okay. So today we've got just to quickly sum up, we've learned all the different sports events in synchro. We have learned that we can hear the music, that we follow the music, and that we can hear it underwater. We learned that the team is really important for lifts. And in terms of technique, we've learned the back layout position, bad knee position, bad leg position. In terms of sculling, we have learned how to travel forward, how to travel backwards, so feet first, and how to practice this upside down. So next week, what we're going to do is making sure that we teach you how to do positions upside down, okay, on land, without doing headstand or handstand, which are a bit tricky if you've never done before. But that is it, okay? So thank you very much, guys, for listening so far. And now we're going to take all questions, if you've got any, and that we can answer to. Okay. Okay. If there's any question, guys, please feel free to ask. Any question. It could be anything related to personal experience, the sports as a whole, what we practice here in Dubai. It's not an issue at all. My hands is paining. Okay. Yes. So, guys, when you're doing, when you're practicing with the wrist, especially if you're not used to it, the key is, as my fault in not saying it before, you need to make sure you're warming up. Okay. So make sure you're warming up properly. It might feel, let's say, pain because it's something unusual. Let's say. Normally, you know, hands are quite flexible, but because of the sport, we really practice to getting flexible as much as we can, one way and the other way. So make sure you're doing that every time. If you don't know gymnastic, that is not a problem. Okay. Personally speaking, I never done gymnastics before. I started synchro when I was 5 or 6 years old, and I just learned those basics as I just developed. So when you practice artistic swimming, you don't just train in the water, you also train on land. So all those skills that we're learning now is something that you will learn on a normal training session. My name is Ilaria, but just call me Ila. I'm originally from Italy, but I'm English as well. And yes, artistic swimming is for boys as well. Since 2015, all boys of any age are allowed in competitions. And here in Dubai, we practice and we've got the chance to train in boys as well. In terms of techniques to increase flexibility, what I really recommend is for you guys to stay tuned over the next couple of sessions, which is when Coaches Dragana and Coach Charlie will really give you a go and show you different tips on how doing things. Oh, good question. Routines. They've got different durations. If there are routines with less people, they tend to last a little bit less than big ones, just because with the team is really intense. At senior level, you've got routines which last up to 4 minutes, but when you're little, they start from 1 minute, 1 minute 30, and they move on. Let me see. How did I become so flexible? It's just practice, guys. It's all about practice. The only thing that I always been relatively flexible naturally is like my shoulders. Like
I could turn back and forth when I warm up, not like this, but that is just becomes from practice. In synchro especially, because when you try to do the split upside down, you need to get more strength. So it's not just a case of becoming flat. It's a case of even being over flat in the on land. So in the water, you're at the right position. Okay. If you're not flexible, again, it's not the end of the world, guys. It's just something that you're going to practice. And personally, I think that anything holistic wise, or anything that involves all your body, such as gymnastics, or system gymnastics in particular, as well as yoga, are practices that you can try now that you are at home not doing much at the moment. So that really increases the flexibility. It's not just one muscle, guys, remember that. And I think, guys, we've got only 30 seconds to go. But will we do gymnastics in the water? Well, that is the idea, when we'll be allowed to be in the pools. During these sessions, we'll try to teach you how we reproduce what we can do in the water on land. So that is not a problem at all. How can we experience the water state while doing land? Okay, Yuri, just so you know, I've got 3 more questions. Okay, I'm just speaking with our main leader here, and I'll try to answer, guys, in 1 minute, but then please bear in mind all your questions, and we'll try to get back to you in the future. The idea of giving you an idea of water states while doing on land will be, for example, something like this. Okay, just to give you an exciting input for next week. So we could either practice something when you're going up here. Okay. You try to do anything that you can. On the other way, we're going to try to teach you how to do headstand or handstand, where you can do this by yourself. So this gives you the idea of anything that you can do on land. Okay? Okay. Guys, I love your questions, and there are 10 more coming. So I will teach you, I'll let you know, guys, by message, but thank you very much for all your interest. Please bear those questions for next week. So we're going to have the chance to talk about all of this a little bit more. Okay? So thank you very much, guys, for your time. It's great to see that you're all so engaged, and we'll see you very soon. See you later. Bye-bye.